Welcome all to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for 4th of November 2023. Now, starting with the today's agenda of the day, we'll be discussing about the change and the challenge from the Indian Express that talks about the India's stand before the United Nations when it comes to Israel and Palestine war. Then we'll be talking about some concise news update for the today, which will include the national news, important days, sports. And then we'll be talking about some legal news update coming from the Honorable Supreme Court and Karnataka High Court. Okay? Chalo. Let us start with the editorial section, which talks about the change and the challenge. So the particular editorial context relates to India's vote on UN resolution marks a new realism in Middle East policy. So the India's recent action on the UN resolution over Israel and Hamas conflict, which supported for a failed Canadian amendment condemning the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel. So, India has done a recent action before the UN resolution over the Israel and the Hamas conflict. Now, what is India's traditional reaction on Israel-Palestine issue? So, in the past, India voted with the Arab resolution against Israel as a matter of a routine. So, as a matter of routine, in the past, India has voted against Israel. Now, with its latest vote on the latest UNGA resolution, Delhi has underlined the primacy of its concerns on international terrorism without abandoning its demand for a two-state solution in Palestine. So, there is a solution which is two-state solution. Now, let us talk about what is a two-state solution. So, two-state solution is a proposed framework for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict by establishing two states for two people, Israel for Jewish people and Palestine for Palestinian people. In 1993, the Israeli government and the Palestine Liberation Organization agreed on a plan to implement a two-state solution as a part of Oslo Accords, leading to the establishment of Palestinian Authority. So there was a proposed implementation of a two-state solution in Palestine. So for Jewish people, Israel was to be made, and for Palestinian people, Palestine was to be made. Now challenge of present government over India's new realistic policy on Palestinian issue. So government needs to guard against inviting the charge of playing a vote bank politics with the Middle East region. That is for a vital interest to India. These are the particular charges that were levied by the previous Congress-led government. Now, as per the present situation, what steps New Delhi should take to overcome foreign policy challenges coming from Middle East? So there are proposed two steps. First is to outreach to the Arab world and explain Delhi's abiding commitment to Palestine full statehood, publicly press Israel to respect the laws of war and shore up humanitarian assistance to Gaza. So, PM recent call to Arab leaders is a good step. At the same time, Delhi must also consider the outrage of Arab Street over Israel's brutal representation in Gaza. Now, the second step that the government should take is the government needs to invite opposition leader for full briefing and explain. So the second step that needs to be taken is the government should invite the opposition leader for full briefing and explain the consideration shaping its regional policy. By all accounts, the opposition thinking on the Middle East is frozen in the past and an update is long overdue. Finally, Delhi can ill afford to send out the impression that it is preventing pro-Palestine protests while encouraging demonstration in support of Israel by groups on the other side of the ideological fence. Now, Delhi needs to crack down on the extremist group that are reportedly spreading disinformation in favor of Tel Aviv and participating in cyber attack against Hamas site. Now, this is a particular change that is happening from India, and the challenge before India when it comes to Middle East realism policy. Now, the final conclusion to this is the New Delhi's new realistic policy is a good step to promote India's national interests in volatile Middle East theater. It must be cautious to not to be seen as too biased towards Israel and abandoning Palestinian cause in the Middle East. So we need a balance where we talk about the wrongs that each country has been doing, and what step there needs to be a voice or dialogue that needs to be put in up. So it's a new realistic policy which is coming from India for the Middle East that is happening between Israel and Hamas. So this was something which was brief, where we talked about India stand before UN resolution, and how what step needs to be taken from India so that we can have a balanced approach where we have a dialogue, a conversation where wrong are done, and where we stand for humanitarian law first. So let us talk about the national news. So PM has inaugurated World Food India 2023 on 3rd November. Now this particular, the World Food India celebration, which is done in Delhi, has aimed to strengthen self-help groups. Prime Minister will disperse seed capital assistance for over 1 lakh self-help groups. The support will be self-help groups gain better price realization and market through improved packaging and quality manufacturing. It will feature regional cuisines and royal culinary heritage, wherein over 200 chefs will participate and present traditional Indian cuisines, making it a unique culinary experience. The event aims to showcase India as food basket of the world and celebrate 2023 as the International Year of Millets. It will provide a networking and business platform for government bodies, industry professionals, farmers, entrepreneurs, and other stakeholders to engage in discussion, establish partnership, and explore investment opportunity in agri-food sector. This was also focused on ease of doing business. So it's a very important event that is happening in New Delhi, where the self-help groups will be given the major advantage this year. Okay, chale. Next national news, Max Verstappen dominates Mexico City Grand Prix, sets new season victory record. So Red Bull's Max Verstappen took a dominant victory in the Mexico City Grand Prix to break his own record for wins in a single Formula One season. Now, who came second and third? So Lewis Hamilton secured the second position in the race, continuing his consistent performance, and Charles Leclerc, who has started from pole position for the second consecutive race, finished third. Clear है? Formula One रेस कार में ये 1, 2, 3 नंबर के पर्सन है जिन्होंने गोल्ड, ब्रॉन्ज एंड सिल्वर लिया है. India gives letter of request to France for buying 26 Rafale-M fighter jets for Navy. So a letter of request has been delivered to the French government few days back, where they have asked for buying 26 Rafale-M fighter jets for Navy. In July, the Defense Ministry approved the purchase of this Rafale marine jets from France, primarily for deployment on board the indigenous built aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. The negotiation on pricing and other details are expected to take place after the Defense Ministry receives a response from the French side. So these are the fighter jets which are being purchased for Indian Navy to be deployed on INS Vikrant. ECI, that is Election Commission of India, designed in-house software for complete candidate and election management through ENCORE. So this particular software will provide a seamless facility for returning officers to process candidate nomination, affidavit, voter turnout, counting results, and data management. The ENCORE counting application is an end-to-end application for returning officers to digitize the votes polled, tabulate the round-wise data, and then take out various statutory reports of counting. Another application called ENCORE scrutiny application allows returning officers to do scrutiny of the nominations filed by the candidates online. After verification of the nomination, the status is marked as accepted, rejected, withdrawn, helping the returning officer to prepare the final list of contesting candidates. So, इसका मतलब ये है that all the process that have been done manually will be done through a software named ENCORE, and it would have all the election management activities. So, याद रखिएगा, that is an apt question for judicial services. Now, legal update coming from the Honorable Supreme Court, where the court talked about Army's approach of denying women officers empanelment as colonial arbitrary. The Supreme Court has said on Friday that the Army's approach of denying women officers empanelment as colonial was arbitrary and directed the authorities to reconvene the Special Selection Board within a fortnight for their promotion. So, very huge revolutionary step coming from the Honorable Supreme Court. The observation was made by the Honorable Bench headed by Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, and comprising Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra, as it heard a plea filed by women officers alleging denial of promotion owing to gender discrimination. The bench remarked that the women officers were being compelled to approach the Supreme Court as the attitude of the army was to end the just entitlement of these officers. It ordered that a fresh special selection board will be reconvened no later than a fortnight. However, it clarified that those officers who have already been promoted shall not be distributed in any manner. So, very revolutionary step coming from the Honorable Supreme Court, which relates to the defense and relates to the promotion of the women officers. Chaliye. The last legal update coming from the Karnataka High Court, where the court talked about offense of bigamy under Section 494 IPC applies only against erring spouse, can't prosecute family members. The Karnataka High Court has held that the offense which relates to bigamy, which pertain to a spouse marrying again during the lifetime of husband or wife, can be pursued against the erring spouse. However, the other members of the family or members of extended family of the erring spouse cannot be prosecuted. ठीक है, and cannot be prosecuted for an offense. Justice R. Nataraj said a pursual of the section 494, 495, 496 make it clear that those offenses can be pursued by a spouse against an erring spouse, and the other members of family or the members of extended family cannot be persecuted for the offense. So 494 का offense सिर्फ और सिर्फ एरिंग स्पाउस पे लग सकता है, उसके फैमिली मेंबर्स या एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली मेंबर्स पर वो प्रोसिक्यूट इस पर्टिकुलर ऑफेंस के अंडर नहीं हो सकते. आई होप दैट्स क्लियर. नाउ दैट्स ऑल फॉर द टुडेज अपडेट ऑफ द डे. अगर आपको कल का टीएनए का रिवीजन चाहिए तो आज के टीएनए के डिस्क्रिप्शन में जो लिंक दिया गया है उस पर्टिकुलर डेली क्विज को जरूर अटेम्प्ट करिए, विच विल हेल्प यू आउट इन क्लियरिंग द एग्जामिनेशन वेल. ठीक है, that's all for the today's news update and the legal news. Thank you for watching and take care.